Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kathie J Show. I am Kathie J. Today's show is all about following your dreams. And please welcome to the show my guest, my friend, Symes Carter.
Hey.
Yay! Hello.
How's it going?
So I guess I should say platinum producer, DJ, and country artist, Symes Carter.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So let's break it all down.
Okay.
So you and I... we're the homies. Like I met you when you were a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Like around this time, a year ago, you were like DJing a club, and hip hop and stuff. So let's talk about how you've come to be who you are today.
All right.
So, okay, let's talk about how you came up in the music world.
So, first of all, my name's Symes Carter. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. How can I say this? I mean, I was always in music. My dad had a band. So I started off with his band singing country covers as a kid.
So you started singing country.
I was a cowboy. I grew up as a cowboy.
So Albuquerque's pretty cowboy, right?
It's pretty hood and it's pretty country.
Pretty country, right.
Although, as I grew up, like 12, 13 years old, my mom and dad got a divorce.
Okay.
So he kind of just divorced us all.
Okay, and he was the one in the band?
But he was the one that had me, singing and doing all this stuff. So when he left, it kind of just put that to the back burner, right?
Right.
So I lived in a kind of a violent neighborhood at that time. I ended up, being involved in gangs and the whole hip hop scene.
Right. Like
with that,
the whole scene of like a kid, a young teenager without a dad kind of thing,
exactly.
and supervision. You got into trouble like normal kids could.
I didn't have dad to push me anymore to do the music thing, so I just kind of went the other route.
Yeah.
And I got involved in that, and I always tried to be a radio DJ at that time too. Like from 13 all the way to my 30s, I always just wanted to be a radio DJ. That was like my dream. That was like my dream, So I would go bug, Kiss FM over there, Wild 106. I would go try to intern and, do my little DJ voice and try.
Yes.
Never got a shot, nothing. So I started making beats off of computer.
Okay.
And
so you still always loved music, Symes?
Always. I always
it was like, okay, I'm not going to be performing it, but I still love it. So now I'm going to be a DJ giving music and talking about the songs. And then that didn't really pan out. So you were like, I'm making music. Like music was still trying to find a way to come out of you.
Yes, and at this point I was a runaway. I wasn't living at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old are you at this time?
13.
What?
So yeah, I'm like a runaway living on the street.
You're way too young.
Yeah, I know. But the guys that took me in, his name was Larry. He had a production studio. I mean, he had every beat machine, every turntable. That's where I learned my craft there. And
so the guy that took you in, that you were helping make money for, he happened to have a production studio that he'd spent some of his money on.
Exactly.
How crazy is that?
He had everything you could think of. Me and his son were friends. There was a whole group of us.
Okay.
And I learned how to DJ there, and I learned how to make beats there. So they started putting me on primetime spots. I was the youngster, but I was the one that can mix good.
Okay.
With the records,
When you say primetime spots, you mean like mixing in a club?
Mixing the club from 12:30 to 1:30.
That's when
12
everyone
to 1,
is on the dance floor
the
feeling good.
Out,
Yeah.
So they would put me on those spots. And meanwhile, keep in mind, the whole time I'm doing house parties. I mean, I'm the freshman DJing for the varsity, for the seniors. So I'm rocking house parties. So I became real popular.
Yeah.
With that. And then, like I said, the production started coming. I had a few rappers I wanted to put out. That started coming. So I got real popular in my hometown with hip hop, and being a DJ and stuff. So I kind of just kept doing it. And by the time I was 19, 20, I got my first record deal in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Record deal as a singer artist or producer artist?
So a production deal, record deal.
That's awesome.
With Download Records out there. And at that time, they had Haystack. They had Slim the Mobster, who's signed to Dr. Dre now.
Yeah.
They had a lot of artists that came up out of there. Even DJ Vlad was always there.
And you're the guy that's been hired now to sit in the studio for 24 hours in the dark and put the beats together.
Exactly. I mean, I get locked up in there.
But that's what you love, right?
Yeah.
You liked it?
I loved it.
Okay,
because
that's awesome.
I didn't have anything else.
Okay.
This was my life. Like I said, I was a runaway all the way till today. You can still call me the runaway. But it was a cool situation for me that I got the deal.
Yeah.
And the deal was going on out there. I ended up meeting Baby Bash. And Baby Bash just instantly fell in love with my work, with my craft.
Baby Bash, I will say this, over the years when I've met him, every single time I met him, Baby Bash is a good dude. He's very nice.
He's cool.
He's always wanting to help. Like, yeah, right. He is a good dude.
He took me to
I
Houston.
love that. Okay.
So he flew me out to Houston from Las Vegas. And I ended up staying in Houston for a long time. I ended up just living there.
Okay.
The record label I was a part of fell apart, had some problems. So I ended up staying there. I didn't end up with Bash, though. I ended up with MB Riders, Little Rob, Amanda
That's cool.
Perez. I ended up signing to Upstairs Records.
Okay.
So they kept me. They got me a house, car, stuff like that in Houston. So I stayed there with them. That's when I did a lot of work for Little Rob. I did Amanda Perez, Candy Kisses. That was like a top 5 Billboard hit.
Yeah, you're a platinum producer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so congratulations. That in and of itself
Thank you.
is like amazing. So
you.
yeah, that's really cool. So you create, so it's got to, so what was that feeling like the first time you heard that version of a song you created on the radio?
The feeling was awesome. It was great. It was like, okay, and I was young, so I didn't really know about the money situation yet.
You were just like, ooh.
Yeah, it was more like glamour and hype. But as days went by and weeks went by, I started to feel like I don't have nothing to show.
Right, okay.
For this besides my name.
Okay.
So, I had my fallout with them over money, of course. Mm-hmm. And I left there and I ended up here in Colorado. I had got, my kid's mom, I'm with her now, my wife.
Yes.
I got her pregnant and we're
Time to start a family.
No, we're out here, and this is like 2008.
Yeah.
And we're out here, and I'm like, I'm not going to leave.
Yeah.
Because I grew up without a dad. So I'm not going to leave these kids, you know what I mean? So we started a family here, and I've been here ever since, and I became a DJ out here, DJ Devontae Love. I'm sure you know Devontae. I mean,
Yes.
He put me on at some bars back in the day, and I learned some things from him, and I started getting more and more gigs, and then just became popular here as a DJ in the clubs and stuff. And one day I had an opportunity to finally live one of my dreams, and that's when I met you at Flow. Yeah. And they brought me on. I was actually already on Flow for like 2 years as a mixer.
Yeah, yeah.
But nothing like when they brought me in the studio to be, on air or anything like that.
We're speaking today with country artist Symes Carter. And Symes is referring to a couple years ago, I was over at the hip hop station.
Yep.
And I came up on the hip hop stations, and this was another version of the hip hop station. And there you and I were. And you were a DJ. Like, I came to your Halloween party last year. You really, nobody gets off the floor when you start. Like, when you really get into mixing and the beats and stuff. And then all of a sudden you came at me and you were like, here's my new single. And I was like, let me hear it. And you're a country artist. I had no idea.
And it happened about last October when the transition started.
Yeah.
And
tell me about so getting to be a DJ with me was one of your dreams because now you finally were on the air.
Yeah, and then keep in mind too, since I lived out here in 2008, I have been hearing you on the radio and Tony and everybody, and I'm like, man, I need to work with them someday,
Yeah.
And just, I
Slim and
admire
Tony
your
B,
work,
we love you, yeah.
honestly, and you've been the nicest person to me since I got in there, and I just figured, hey, this is a dream come true. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on the radio. I'm gonna have I'm not gonna brag too hard, but I feel like I had the best mix show at least for a year on the radio.
I agree.
And
the things you said were great. Your content was great. The
things
songs
just
you chose,
happened to change. In radio things change a lot. We both know that, and I felt like it was the perfect time
for you.
It was like, this is the perfect time because me and Sean were already talking. Like, what are you gonna do when you start taking off on these tours, which is happening now?
Right, you're on the tours, right?
Booked
That's why
every
we're talking,
weekend.
right?
Radio stations are picking up my single all over the place. Sirius Radio's playing it. So it's like, I wouldn't have known what to do. So God put me in that position for a reason, even when the switch out came.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more happier than where I'm at now.
So, but you had the switch out. The hip hop station was purchased by a religious station, by a Christian station, and they flipped formats. Mm-hmm. But you were already country artist prior to that.
I was already in my.
They
I was
just
already
helped push you out the door. They pushed you into the pasture faster.
They did, and I was already, done with the album, and trying to fix, stressing out a lot, you know, literally scratching the hairs out of my head, thinking like, what am I going to do? You know, because starting over as an artist, after you've already known all these people in the industry for so many years and stuff, it really is starting over. It's like, it really is starting over. Like, I wasn't able to just say, like, okay, I'm cool, I'm just going to go use this and go here with that. No, it didn't work like that. Like,
no,
I mean, really had to start stone cold from the bottom over again.
Yeah, in a market where nobody knew who you were.
Where nobody knew who I was.
You were known down in Texas. You had a name in, you know, where you were doing Houston. So it has been hard. But I would like to tell you that I know why you're doing it. Like, it is your calling. The minute I hear you start singing, I just get chills. Like, your voice is...
I appreciate it.
Is so...
I appreciate it.
The melodies that go through your voice is just awesome. And like,
it took me a long time to find that voice.
That voice? That's what I was going to ask you.
Because I sang for years. Like, Like, if people were to go YouTube my name right now on YouTube, you'll see that I'm on over 1,000 records. Even with Baby Bash, with Lil Rob. I mean... Big name artist, Little Flip,
just as Symes Carter, you were just the producer that threw in vocals because you needed it on that track.
As Symes Carter, but like, see, back then I didn't really know my voice yet.
Okay.
So I was kind of like the Mexican T-Pain.
Okay.
It's like, you would call me the Latino T-Pain. So it's like, I'm on all these people's tracks.
But you don't use
but I did.
You did?
I used the auto-tune for many, many years.
Oh.
Because that's what I'm trying to say is I couldn't find myself. I didn't trust myself yet. But then when I used my real voice in here, I was like, I need to sing country again because my voice fits that, you know.
Gotcha.
So that's when I started saying, okay, that's a transition. This is what I want to do. Plus, I had got inspired by other artists like Morgan Wallen, you know, Christy Troy, Louis the Singer, you know, people like that are out there. I had got inspired, and I was like, dude, this is my calling. This is what I'm gonna do now, and this is 100% what I'm doing.
And you know what? Speaking of that, Symes, the calling. So when you were doing all hip hop world, thousands of tracks, the beats in your head, trying to come up with something new, were you still finding time to listen to country music? Were you like in the car or something? You'd like was country still calling you at all? Like,
it did.
It did
because it mellowed me out. I really started listening to it a lot more because I'm also a softball coach.
Okay.
So I coach little girl softball. I started since my daughters were young, but now I'm in 14U. But even to this day, I'm still coaching. Some of the girls like country, and I would hear it, and the parents. And
every time you'd hear it, you'd be like, it calls me.
I'd be like, man. Then I heard Morgan Wallen, and I was like, okay, he's using hip hop beats.
Yeah.
You know, and he's putting this in there, and I'm like, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I should have always done.
Right.
Because I look up to like George Strait, you know.
Right, and he is not hip hop beats.
No, I look up to George Strait, and then I'm an R&B singer also. So how can I make this work? Who do I incorporate my sound from, and as a country artist now? And I would say, like, I took George Strait, not his voice, but like his style, and I took Jagged Edge, like R&B group, not their voice, but their style, and I mixed it, and that's why I call myself rhythm and country instead of rhythm and blues or rhythm anything else.
Right.
So I was able to mix like that R&B sound with country, and it's like what Post Malone's doing, and a couple other guys out there, and it's working just fine.
Yeah. No, I really like your song. So your album dropped June 28th.
It dropped in June, yeah.
Yeah, and then your single "Drink It Up" is the one that's doing really good.
It's the one that's doing really good. It's not on the album. It's weird. It's just weird how it happened.
Isn't it always something like that?
I dropped the album. The album is hitting massive streams right now on Spotify, and then I had made this other song right after I dropped the album, and you know, I messed around with GT Digital Empire, you know, Empire Nashville and all them. All the executives are like, we need to push this record.
Okay. So
that's why we're pushing it hard right now, and I'm doing like these runs, and we're about to shoot the video in Houston. Man,
so is it? Tell me about the difference being on this side of the production now. You're the artist.
I love it.
I mean, as you should.
I love it, and don't get me wrong. I'm still very humble, and I still hold a couple of nights in downtown Denver.
Yeah, you still do some DJing.
When you love something, if I'm not booked and I'm not on tour, why not go down there, and because people still want to come see me.
And you're absolutely right, Symes, and I don't think we should be defined by one or the other because I did the hip hop station for the 18 years and then, 20 years. And as much as I love hip hop, I still love the songs that play on KOSI. I still love the song. I love country. So I think we shouldn't be defined by one genre. What I love about you is that you are comfortable, and I'm proud that you found your voice. Let's talk about your songs because I've gone through them. I've gone through the lyrics, and you write your songs, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so tell me where you gather the inspiration to do what you do.
I would say every song, just like what I've learned in the hip hop market, is every song, and I don't feel like hip hop's like that now. I feel like it's just like, let's make a song and throw it out there.
Yeah, it really is, and I hate that. And and I love hip hop to my
Me
core.
too.
So it does hurt my heart
just
when
right
I feel
now,
like
it's
somebody
not it.
You didn't put the work in. I feel, yeah.
And what I learned from being on with labels and being, with A&Rs and stuff is that every song should have its own meaning and its own storyline.
Yeah.
Not the same song over and over and over and over. So yeah, that's what I did with my album. I took Soaked Up Game and I made a song for every single story, and they're all real stories. Everything is a real story, and it wasn't hard to write.
Do you get out on the road and drive? Where does your best inspiration come? In the shower, at night? Like where does
All of the above.
All of it. Do you have like a little piece of paper? You're always like
got my
pulling
phone.
something out to write notes and stuff.
I got my phone and hit the sound recorder, and I might just hum like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
right.
I'll go back later and like, it was a dark cold night. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll think of the words or whatever, and I'll put it together and then I'll be like, hey, got a studio in my house,
Right.
Just go record it. Because, like I said, I've been an engineer and a producer for 25 years. Ain't no one going to mix me better or record me better than myself.
I was gonna say you actually. That's the benefit is you started as like a sound engineer almost, like, and then you know how to produce your own stuff.
And I can
It's
mix
like
my vocals.
Yes, and you can mix your own vocals. So that you cut out a lot of money on the middleman.
Cut out a lot of money and a lot of problems because then publishing comes out later.
Oh,
and
right.
Everybody wants their cut, of course.
They're part of that. So tell me, do you feel that the country music artists not the artists, do you feel that country listeners, how have they been receiving you? I've seen your crowds.
They're receiving me.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because it's a mixed crowd. Yeah. I got Latinos, I got, the whites, I got everybody, blacks, I got everybody. Everybody loves that music. I have people reach out to me and be like, hey, I never really liked country before because I couldn't really relate to it. It might have been too much for me,
right.
Too honky for me or something,
yeah.
And then they're like, but I can listen to yours.
Yeah.
And that feels good when they tell me, I've never listened to country before, but I'm listening to your song because I can relate to it. It's kind of where I came from, but you're singing it like this. And I'm like, cool, that's the whole point and the whole execution of this project is to get those fans that never even listened to country before. So
no, one of the things I always loved working with you, Symes, is you come across with such a big presence. Like I will throw you through a wall presence. But when we started hanging out, you would always talking about when you talk about your wife or your kids or the fact that you're a softball coach, like there's such another side to you that I think that you're like so confident and proud of that I think that's what attracts male listeners to your music, and females were just like, look at him, he's such a teddy bear, But I feel like you also, again, could be the first person to throw someone through a wall. Like, do you get that?
I get that a lot, and some people, like even when I'm coaching, like an umpire or like another coach from another team, or even a parent, I was scared to bring you the problem. I didn't know. I'm like, look, lady, I'm soft as baby butt.
You really are.
And I'm not gonna do nothing. Just come to me with the problem. Let's figure it out. But even in the music industry, I feel like they're welcoming me with open arms right now. All the people I've known over the years that had to see me finally grind first to let me back in, and they're letting me in, and it's going good.
It is.
I couldn't ask for anything more.
Where are you traveling to next, Symes?
I'm in Grand Island, Nebraska this Saturday night.
All right. And what's it like when people are singing your songs back to you?
It's heartwarming. Like it makes me, like I said, I get emotional. I'm soft as baby butt, but I kind of tear up inside. I can't because I'm on stage and start going crazy, but I kind of tear up because the hard work, everywhere I've been through, I've been at the finish line about 100 times in my life.
Yeah.
Where I get to the finish line and then, oh, I forgot my phone in the car and my keys. And I have to go start over again. So now I feel like with this, when I get to the finish line, that's not going to happen.
You're
Because
right.
I'm not going to let it happen. But for 20 years, the finish line was hard.
Yeah, well, it's because I think is what you said. You obviously have good work ethic and you're talented, and you just didn't find your right way to put your voice out.
Yeah.
So even though you made it to the finish line, that voice wasn't ready. But now your voice, I mean, like I said, I love listening to it. It's got such a beautiful melody in it.
Thank you, Kathie.
I love, I love watching you up on stage. Before I let you go, the footwork that you're doing right now, the grinding, as a country artist, I'm here, there's a country station next door, and the artists are always coming through, and I know that once country fans love you, they'll love you forever.
Forever.
I hear all that. But tell me about the footwork. It's hard. Are you in a Winnebago? How are you traveling?
I'm traveling in my F-150.
Yep.
And
keep it real, then.
We are going city to city, state to state. I would say, in the midst of all this, you gotta be a good person too.
Yeah.
And that's one thing to go back real quick. That's one thing I'm man enough to admit. When I was younger, I wasn't humble. I wasn't appreciative, and I wasn't that good of a person. And when I changed a few years ago, and I said, you know what, I need to be a better person, that's when things like this kicked into gear for me. And even on the road doing the footwork, I'm going to these towns, sometimes not even getting paid. But I'm going over there just to show love to the fans. I'll stay there and take a picture till the very last one of them's gone. Sometimes there's 150 people in line to take a picture with me.
Right.
And I'm not sitting there saying I didn't get paid for a meet and greet. I'm out of here. Nah. I'm gonna stand there and take a picture with every single kid, every parent, everybody that got a ticket to come to the show.
And that's why you're gonna make it, Symes.
And I'm gonna keep thriving.
Yes.
I am.
Because to understand the importance of, you're giving them a gift when you open your mouth.
Yes.
And for people to want to sit around to meet you, to say thank you for touching me like that, that's the connection is what it's all about. And you're making those connections. And what can we as your fans do to help you reach the finish line?
Just keep supporting. And, stream my music.
Stream the music.
Stream my music. Add me to your playlist.
Where do we find
everything.
you? SymesCarter.com.
SymesCarter.com. Symes Carter on Spotify, YouTube.
Symes rhymes with rhymes. He puts a Y in it.
Or dimes or limes or whatever. So it looks just the way it says. But I'm on every platform. My music's out through Empire. So I have major distribution. GT and Empire's behind me.
So we can just Spotify and Symes Carter.
Anything. Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Xbox Live. I mean, kids are playing video games. Go ahead, turn me up.
Yeah, right.
And all my music's kid-friendly. There's nothing bad in my songs.
So where do we find Drink It Up if it's not on an album? If it's not on an album.
It's out as a single.
I love that.
So it's out on Spotify, Tidal, Apple. When they heard that, they said, we're putting this out right away.
Right.
So it's out. Like I said, we're shooting a music video October 11th in Houston.
Yeah. What song is one of your favorites that's on the album that just came out?
My favorite, personally, that's on the album is Only God Knows.
How's it go? Any of it? What's your favorite part of it, or what do you like?
I like the hook. I like the chorus.
You got to sing it for me.
It just says Only God Knows when the thunder rolls.
See, when you talk like that, I just love it.
When the thunder rolls, people trying to. It's about a song about only God knows what I'm going through and how many people have took from me and stuff like that. And the song is deep, and that's why I like it because it's a real story. But
it's a story for all of us.
It's a story for everybody.
Only God knows what I've gone through and the pain I've had, and only He knows what the thunder I'm rolling through right now. Like I understand all the words.
You might hear it. He might hear it.
Yes.
And somebody might hear it and be like, I'm going through that right now.
That's it.
Because I feel like it's real. We're, like you said, we're all going through that.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite song on the album. And if I had to pick another one, it would probably be Make It Right.
Make It Right.
I feel like Make It Right could be like a song at weddings and for a long time and, couples and stuff.
Good. I'm going to go listen. I'm going to go listen to it with a different ear. I always love to know what the favorite songs are of the artist because it means more to me knowing it means more to you.
And there's one I won't listen to anymore. It's number 13. It's because I wrote it for my stepdad.
Oh.
And he passed away.
Okay.
And it's kind of me just singing to him. I wish I could have I wish I could have told you I loved you and stuff. So if I hear it, you know, it kind of, I couldn't really record it because I kept stopping and crying. And so that's the song I won't listen to anymore. But
guess what? That's the song that's going to become famous.
it probably is.
You'll have to sing it all the time.
It's like when Candy Kisses came out, right?
Right.
I told Amanda and I told Universal and them, I said, no, this is probably one of the worst beats I ever been a part of.
It is. It just took off.
And it took off.
I've seen her perform it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made her famous.
And me and Amanda, man, we go back. We're like brother and sister. So
she's a good woman.
She's gonna be helping write on this new album too. So
all right, well,
I can't wait.
Country artist Symes Carter, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you.
Kathie.
SymesCarter.com is where you can find him, and please continue to support him so that he can reach the finish line. I love you. I love you.
Too. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you.
Kathie J.